Hey guys, what is going on? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to easily complete the entire Garden of Salvation raid. This is the raid that came out with Shadowkeep, and I'm going to be showing you how to get all the encounters done in great detail, also how to get the Divinity exotic that you get from this raid, and also some of the chests that you can get along the way. So, let's get into the first encounter. So whenever you first load up the raid, you're going to actually be on the moon. And all you need to do here is just kill the enemies that come out, and they're just going to come out of the portal, and once you kill all of them, a giant gate will open up and you just go into that to get into the actual raid. So when you actually get into the Black Garden, the first thing you're going to want to do is turn around and then drop off the ledge. This is the first step to actually get the divinity, and you need to do this before any other step to actually get the quest to activate. So the last thing you're going to do before you actually get into the first raid encounter is the first different puzzle for the Divinity Exotic Trace Rifle. There's about 7 of these throughout the raid, so you're going to have to get pretty used to the mechanics throughout them. The main mechanic in this puzzle is the tether. The tether is going to be used throughout the entire raid, so you might want to get used to it. Basically, there's a box, and when you shoot it, the enemy closest to it gets a line drawn to them. It's a tether. And then the person that they're looking at and is closest to them, they get tethered along with them. So you want to make a chain in pretty much all the encounters to go to different objectives. In this puzzle, there's going to be different openings in both of the sides of the walls. Once you get up the staircase, just follow where I'm going. Once you get up the staircase, the hole to the left is where you're going to activate it. There's going to be a box near the bottom and you just shoot it. And you want to make sort of like a spiral staircase formation up the different platforms, and then you want to connect it to the other side. There's going to be another hole on the other side, and you just receive it from the little opening that you can see the other side through. And you just make a descending spiral until you can actually activate the final part. Here's my team completing it with a little bit of communication.
Oh, we're close.
Give me a second.
Okay, looks like I'm going down. Hold up, we almost had it. There we go. Yeah, we actually did.
Alright, stop the footage just to show you something kind of important, because whenever you complete a step for the Divinity quest, it's going to see in the bottom left corner, accepted singular security bypassed. You want to make sure it says that after you do one of the different puzzles, because if you don't, it means you didn't do it correctly. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention. Make sure it says that after you do every single one of the puzzles. So for the first encounter of the raid, you're actually going to want to split into 2 groups of 3. And you're going to want to play sort of a game of hopscotch or leapfrog, however you want to see it. Because as you can see, this beginning room, you're going to have the first team stay in there, and then you're going to have the second team move forward. Now the second team, when they actually go forward, they have to connect the box to the gate, and this is going to be used for, again, the entire raid. So this is the box you need to shoot, and once you shoot it, it will go to the nearest teammate, and it'll keep making a chain. But if you get too far away, then the chain will break. Especially if the person closest to it breaks, then you have to reconnect everyone. So make sure to know how far you can actually go with the chain. I would say play with it for a little bit just to make sure you're comfortable with how far you can go. So when you actually tether the gate to make sure it opens, it's going to immediately start the encounter. So you're going to want Team 2 to rush into the other side, and Team 1 is going to stay pretty much in the exact same place. But an important thing is that for each side you want to have numbers 1 through 3. This is important because the box is going to shoot out a pool, and you need to grab that buff, Voltaic Overflow, because if you don't grab the buff, then you all wipe. And when you have the buff, you cannot pick up any more of the buffs, so you'll just immediately die whenever you pick it up. So if no one can pick it up, then one of you might have to sacrifice. In the gameplay in the background, I am listed number 1 out of the 3 players, so I'm the first one to grab the buff. So as you can see, he'll start moving over to location, and you'll know when he starts moving over because he won't shoot at you anymore. And so he'll look like a regular harpy, so when he goes to the point, then he shoots out the pool. Make sure you grab it and make sure you do get the buff and make sure you didn't miss it somehow. And then you just go back to clearing ads. While you are clearing ads, there are going to be some Cyclops that spawn, so make sure to take those out immediately because those can do a lot of damage, and even in the case of the final encounter, they can one-shot you. So make sure to make those your top priority. You can even use heavy ammo on them since you're not going to be dealing with that many other heavy targets. So I'd say just use a lot of ammo on them, make sure that they're dead because they can really ruin an entire run. So while you're over on this side clearing ads, the other team is going to also be clearing ads, and there's going to be a couple overload champions that spawn, so those aren't too bad. They're just minotaurs, so make sure to use some ammo on them to clear them out pretty quickly. There's usually going to be a Cyclops that spawns, but then after you clear out all those ads, there's going to be an angelic that spawns, and you want to kill this pretty much immediately. You want to burn it, and the thing that the angelic does is, the box from earlier with the tether, well, it creates a barrier around that box so you can't shoot it or tether. So once you kill it, you should find the tether and you can connect it to the door to make sure to keep moving. And since all this is going on at the same time, you're just going to be grabbing buffs on the first side, the side that I'm on in the video. And the thing is, once they get the door unlocked after killing the angelic and tethering up, then the boss will just move to that area. He'll just leave you alone, and then what you do is you go to the place that was past the door they unlocked, while the other team just stays there. So you basically just take over their job. So while they are taking care of the boss, they're also going to be numbered 1 to 3, so they can do the same thing that you guys did. And then eventually, once you guys open that door and the boss comes into your room now, you're basically just going to repeat the same thing that you did in the first room. It's basically the exact same thing, except for this time, the people that go ahead of you, the room that they're going to be in, it's going to have 3 different tethers, and they're all going to connect to different locks on the door. And so they might need a 4th person because some of them do tend to stretch out pretty long. So since I was the first person, I went over there and helped as a 4th for the tether, and then I went back to my side.
Apollo. I got him. Up on the rock again, Apollo.
So once they finish getting all 3 of the locks off the doors, then is the last part of the encounter, because the boss will start teleporting over this huge area, and you're just going to have to run and pick up his buffs. This is the point where even if you have a buff, it would be better if no one else can get it than just sacrifice yourself, because this is at the very end. So, you're almost there. Take note though, whenever you are running through, he's going to spawn a bunch of Cyclopses, so make sure to either kill them with really fast with your heavy, or just run past them, which is what I did. And then you should be fine. If you just run to the end, then you'll be fine, but make sure that everyone else can, grab the buffs when needed. And that is the end of the first encounter.
And that's it.
Come on, pulse rifle. Or armor at this point, I really don't even care.
So once you complete that encounter, you're going to follow straight where I'm going, because this is for the second actual puzzle for the Divinity quest. For this puzzle, you're going to need to form a semicircle around different areas in a small cavern, and I'll show the positions that you need to be in on screen. And by the way, in case you can't notice it because it does go by pretty fast, position 2 is where I was standing right after position 1, so I can see position 3, and then 4 is just a little bit back in that same area. So once you get near position 2, which is where you can see position 1 and 3, there's going to be a little opening, so a little drop down, and you'll just go down there, and that's how you access position 5 and 6. Position 5 is just on the other side. Once you cross it, it's just right on the left. But then for position number 6, the one where the box is going to be, you're going to need to go outside and just follow where I go.
Here, I'm going follow just for my video so I can see where to go.
So once you actually get to the 6th room, you're just going to have everyone get in their positions, have the 6th person shoot the box, and start it up. This is what it looked like with our team with communication.
You're supposed to be right in front of me. Don't go.
Hey, boom, shoot it.
Something just popped up.
Hey, just you're gonna have to get a little bit closer. There we go.
Ta-da!
So the fastest way to get out of this area once you complete the puzzle is just to kill yourself, or you can just go around outside and take the long way around. But once you complete that, make sure you get the text on the bottom left of the screen, then it's time for you to do the next activity. So once you've gotten out of the area where the puzzle is and you go back to where the first encounter ended, you're just going to want to walk straight until you get to the edge, jump down, and there's going to be a big circular pit, and this is where your next puzzle is going to be. So once you jump down the pit, if you just hug the left side and just keep going forward where I'm going, you'll eventually come across one of the secret chests, and this chest can only give you mods and armor pieces. And the cool thing about the mods is that if you get like regular voltaic mode collector, you can get the enhanced one if you get another copy of it. So let's say on your first run you get regular voltaic mode collector, the second time you have the chance of getting the enhanced version, which I think is really cool for the raid.
Oh shit.
Dude, I'm gonna need that for final boss.
What was it again?
Getting
Where do we
powerful
go?
damage resistance. Oh fuck, I don't care about damage resistance. They're worth it, dude. Like,
Enhanced voltaic mode collector, and I got the boots again.
So once you finish getting the chest, just go back to where you eventually drop down, and instead of taking the left, go to the right and go on the tree where I'm going. This is going to be the next puzzle for the Divinity. This one requires a little more communication and movement than the last one.
Yeah, dude. That one's fun because you get a heavy ammo.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Love that one. That one gives so much heavy ammo.
I got boots again.
Alright, I am at the spot.
Alright, so y'all come back over here.
So for this puzzle, you're gonna basically want to make 3 groups of 2 people. One of them is going to be where I am, near that side of the branch. The other 2 are going to be lower on the branch where you can see over here. Then the other 2 are going to be on the branch off to the left. So the person here is going to start it, and they're going to chain it to the people on the left, and you want to connect all these nodes eventually, and the second person that it gets connected to might have to stand really far on the branch. Then they connect it to the other person on the left, which connects it to the person in the back where I'm standing. Then they connect it to me, and I walk forward, or whoever gets tethered first. If I get tethered first, they walk forward. If I get tethered last, then I walk forward. And I connect it to the furthest person out on the branch, near the person that started it all. And then once we form a ring, we can eventually get into the position that we need to, and it's a little bit easier, but it's just a little bit more difficult because, you know, when you're moving, and plus there's also unlimited harpies that spawn, so they're gonna keep shooting at you. So just take your time, and this one should be no problem. Here's our group completing it with a little bit of communication.
Keep respawning.
I know,
so-
but for right now, because they're shooting us.
Okay. Okay, at least you respawned right there. Alright, now you can move up, Aegis. And get closer to connect to them.
Okay, just
I'm
scoot up.
lower, so it shouldn't connect to me as long as you stay right there, boxed.
Alright.
Alright, Aegis, now move up. Okay, now chill. Oh, QWERTY, you'll have to move down. Down a little. Yeah, towards Fallen to connect with the one in front of you. You've got plenty of room. There you go. Chill there for a second.
No, Apollo needs to move over.
Apollo, scoot to the left. Your left.
I got you.
Just
Go
go
until it
into-
connects.
Finally.
There we go. Alright.
So after you successfully complete the puzzle, you're going to go to the next area, which is going to be the second encounter in the raid. Alright, now it's time for the second encounter, and this one introduces a lot of new elements, so you're gonna have to get used to them pretty quickly. So basically, you're just gonna defend 4 different confluxes, and here's a map that I visualize. No, it doesn't look the best, but it's just strictly to show you what's going on. So basically, the whole entire map is just a big diamond, and you need to run around it. It's sort of like a game of baseball. So imagine the plate that you see in the background, the one that I actually stay on, is basically home plate. And you're going in clockwise order, so reverse baseball, around. And basically, the circles that you see on the map, they're the 4 different confluxes. And then the blue ovals are the teleporters that you'll open up. So to do this, once you get to your plate, an angelic will spawn. And once you kill the angelic, the first one at least, everyone will move to the left, to plate number 2. And then once they do that, then they'll kill their angelic. Once you kill the angelics, you'll see on the map that I drew the red boxes. These are the different tethers that unlock whenever you kill the angelic. Because when the angelic is up, just like the other encounters, there's a shield around it so you can't use it. And so at your different conflicts, there's going to be an area that you need to tether to, so you and at least one other person, which is very important. So once you tether your side after killing the angelic, you're both going to get a buff called Enlightened. This makes it so you can destroy a certain type of shield that enemies spawn with. It's just going to be a white shield around them, but you cannot damage them unless you have the Enlightened debuff. But if they sacrifice, you have to wipe. So to stop them from sacrificing, you have to get that buff. So you have to constantly exchange the buff. So once the second plate, they actually kill their angelic and everything gets situated, the teleporters will open between side 1 and side 2. So the teleporters on the left side that you can see. And then the same, once you unlock 3, it's going to unlock those teleporters between 2 and 3. 4 is going to unlock teleporters between 3 and 4. And the teleporters between 1 and 4. So once you get everything unlocked, you're just going to have 4 people stand stationary at one of the confluxes. They're each going to be in charge of their own. And be careful because the other 3 confluxes, not the one you see that I'm standing on in the background, because this is the original one. But the other 3 will have anti-barrier champions spawn, so make sure that they're well equipped if a reclusive anti-barrier round or something. So the 2 other people are going to be running around, and since you need another person at least to get the buff, they're going to be running around giving people the buffs and helping with ads. And that's pretty much their entire job, just to run back and forth and get people the buff. So also you might be wondering what the blue arrows are for. This is to show which different people alternate between which sides, because you're going to have one runner going between plates 1 and 2, then another one alternating between 3 and 4. So everyone will constantly be getting the buff, because one side will have one runner and one side will have the other. So after killing multiple waves of ads, eventually one side is going to have multiple angelic spawn on them. This isn't that much of a deal because you can kill them in one shot with the 4 times as Nagi shot. But it'll keep rotating. So the next wave in the clockwise formation will get the different angelics next. So you can predict where they're going to go after the first play and make sure that each side has backup whenever that happens. Because usually there's about 3 and they come in from all sides. But luckily they can't sacrifice, so you can mainly focus on them. If you've been watching the background gameplay, you most likely noticed the wall that pretty much blocks you from the middle of the map. But after each wave of angelics are killed, that middle is going to open up. And once that happens, everyone needs to rush towards the middle. And this is what it looks like when that happens for my team.
I would like special though. Like, good gosh.
Yep. Alright.
Yeah.
Let's come to the middle.
Alright, time for the fun part.
I'm in the middle, Apollo. This is the easy part.
Alright, let's find the angelic.
Found him.
Oh,
He knew.
he's dead.
Oh, hold up. Let's kill some shit first.
Basically, you're doing the same thing once you get to the middle, because you're just going to defend, except for the thing is, an angelic's going to spawn immediately. And once you kill it, a different box is going to open up, except for you want to get as many people in a line as possible, because you want to have as many people have the buff as possible. And you basically just survive 3 different waves, and each time the box is going to move, and each time it gets more angelics, so the second wave is going to have 2 angelics, the last wave is going to have 3. And after you clear all the waves, that is the end of the second encounter.
We're chill. Beat it.
Nice.
Come on, pulse rifle.
That took us 10 minutes.
Rapid hit kill clip. Come on.
Alright, so the next encounter is the third encounter. And this one you're actually going to be killing the giant harpy boss from the actual first encounter. So this one is pretty simple, but you are going to need to split up into teams of 3 again. You can do the same teams or just whichever one is more experienced on these sides. But if you're doing it for the first time, I'm just going to explain the rules real quick. So when you start it, one of the first things that's going to happen is there's going to be a giant beam of light coming from one of the 4 different confluxes that you actually defended in the previous encounter. And on that side, it's going to spawn a Minotaur. Now, just like in Gambit, these are going to drop motes. These are very important. And so the best strategy is to get 5 motes, the first person at least, in that team. And then they're going to run and go to the beam of light and put them in. This will allow you to get the enlightened buff and kill the ads that are coming towards them. The other 2 people in this team, just call it Team Gambit because you're picking up motes. They're just going to be clearing out ads in the middle. And there's going to be more Minotaurs that spawn, and you're going to want to have the second person grab 10. And then as soon as possible, they're going to go to the first person, deposit their motes, and take over. The third person deposits 10, and then the first person, once they get back to the middle, they need to get 5. Because you need to deposit 30 in order to actually DPS the boss. The problem is though, if any of the ads, if they sacrifice, it will remove the amount of motes that are in the actual place. So if you have maybe 30 but 2 of them sacrifice, it still won't start DPS. You need to get as many motes as possible. So that's that team. Then there's the other team, and you're going to follow the boss around wherever it goes. It's going to spawn in the middle once you first start up the encounter, and then it's going to go to one of these 4 different passageways. And once you go in there, he's going to shoot out one of the different pools and give you the same voltaic overflow buff that you saw in the first encounter. So what's going to happen for the person with the buff is that they're going to see out of each pair, one of the 2 dots is glowing for their eyes. One is either going to be closer to the inside or closer to the outside. And the thing is, once they call inside or outside, the people on the outside of the buff, are going to shoot the eyes that are either on the outside or inside, since they can see both of the pairs. So you want to have one person on the left shooting the left pairs of eyes, and one person on the right shooting the right, and the person that's in the buff, they're going to shoot the top. So let's say, for example, I get the buff first, and I'm looking at the eyes, and I see that the outside eye is lit up. I'm going to say outside, or outer, and then the 2 people next to me are going to have to know, okay, I'm going to have to shoot the eye that's outer. So the left side would shoot the outer left side, right side would shoot outer right, and the person in the buff would shoot the top. And if it was inner, if I just called inner, they would shoot the inside ones, and I would shoot the one that's lower. That's basically an example of how that encounter would go. And that is basically what they do for the entire time. That's what that team does. They just go around following the boss and keep getting the buff. But the problem is, if you don't kill all of its eyes, the person in the buff dies. And the person obviously that has the buff can't pick it up the next time, so you have to make a numbered off system just like the other team. Okay, so now we'll switch back to Team Gambit since we pretty much got the other team covered. So let's say on Team Gambit, you're runner number 2, just like me. So you're going to run over with your 10 motes, deposit it, and then you're pretty much going to go back and forth from the left lane and the right lane, shooting these ad shields, just like you're seeing in the background. Here's an example of what a rotation would look like.
He's gonna hit me into a wall. I can't do anything.
No sacks. Fox, how are you doing with modes? Okay. You're good?
He's on
take
me.
your time.
He's on me. Yeah, I'm clear now. How much time do you have?
Alright, I got
Good.
you.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so you pretty much keep doing this until the person with the third motes, they come, and then you just switch off with them, go back to the middle. But then by about this time, once the third person gets there, the last person, or technically the first person that picked up motes, they're going to pick up another 5, which they're going to deposit to activate damage. Usually by the time the third person gets there, shortly after, the last person with the motes will come in and they'll deposit for damage. Now for damage, it's going to say that the boss is attracted to the beam of light. So it's going to head towards there from wherever the other team is. it's just gonna leave them. It's gonna come towards your pillar, and then it's gonna open up all its eyes, and then you're gonna have to destroy all the eyes. And once you do, you can damage his crit spot. I was using Divinity, so it increased the crit spot a lot. And good weapons to use are definitely his Nagi's Burden, since you don't have to be like right next to it. But also once you're done with his Nagi's, you can also switch to Wendigo, which is really good. Then once you're done with DPS, you go back to the middle and restart the encounter. And that's pretty much all you need to know for this encounter. Once you repeat that, you should be able to kill it, and then you'll be done. Alright, now it's time, after you complete that encounter, it's time for the next part of the Divinity quest. And you can skip to this timestamp just to see, our team doing it regularly, but I'm going to explain it right now before then. So what you want to do is you want to have one person right next to the box that'll spawn, which is right underneath one of the different gateways that the boss goes through in the last encounter. And then you're going to connect it around this pillar that you're seeing that I'm around. And so you're going to have one person to the left of me, which you see, one person to the right between me and the person in the box. Then you're going to have two other people on top of the farther pillar, because the thing about this puzzle is that you have to connect around the different pillar, and so you make a complete circle. So you create a loop, so you're not tethered to the box anymore, you're tethered to each other. So you have to connect line of sight to each other at all times. If you break it, then you have to restart it. So basically you want to form a ring around the pillar that I'm on, which is pretty simple, but you want to connect all the nodes. Then you're going to have two people to the farthest pillar. They're going to jump up, and once you connect everyone, obviously this is when you do this part. So one person that's closer to the person that's on the left of me, they're going to jump up, and they're going to connect to the different node that's in the air. And the person that originally connected to the box is going to move closer. So once they jump up, you'll create a straight line from the person that connected it to the person that's jumping, which will get the two boxes that are in midair. And if everyone else is in position, this box should be completed pretty easily. Here's what it looks like when our team completed this puzzle.
This is taking us longer than the last encounter.
Yeah, this one's finicky, man. This one's really finicky.
There we go.
Just moving a little bit. Okay, hold on, we had it. Okay.
Hey, Volcom, you can actually move. No, you
Whoa,
went
too high.
Yeah, you just gotta keep going a little bit closer. Get to the other side of it, Apollo, to the right and forward. Yeah, keep going. To the right, to my right. Now. Oh, okay, we got that one.
Oh, we need to get this one with Apollo.
Apollo, you're gonna have to get a little bit closer to it. Keep getting a little bit, you're gonna have to go a little bit closer. It would be easier on...
Is that not hitting all of them?
Ah, there we go. There we
Alright,
go.
Harpy one.
Alright, boys, now it's, okay, so let me...
So for this next puzzle, you're actually going to be using the same box in the same room to complete this one. So you're just going to get in a circle, just chain up. You don't have to be in any particular order. Just have to create a ring so the last person has to go back to the first person. Once you do this, you're going to follow where our team goes, and you'll eventually see the nodes on the other side of the room. You can do this one of two ways, because there's harpies that are going to spawn, and they're going to come after you. So you can either have two people bait the harpies in the front, and then somehow survive, which gives you more time to set up the puzzle, which I'll show you in a second. Or you can just run over there and set it up really quickly, which is what we ended up doing. So once you get into the actual area of the puzzle, you'll see that there are 6 nodes in sort of a bow tie shape. So you have 2 people in the middle, and then 4 people, 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side, and you're pretty much just going to assign each person a spot. And either they're going to run there and avoid the harpies, or blow up the harpies, and then you can set up then. We initially tried doing the harpies, but then it killed us, so then we had to restart it. because if one person dies, it resets the entire chain, so you need to go back and restart it. We eventually decided to just run forward, and we eventually got it. Here's us completing it.
He's lagging really bad on my screen. Apollo, scoot up. Alright. Get Nicker, come on.
Yeah, I'm here, except for I'm lagging really badly.
Okay. Whenever we get to the corner is when we'll sprint it. If his character model goes ahead of us, it's okay, because for some reason it doesn't count it. So whenever we get hold. Stairs, ready, go, sprint, sprint, go to your fucking parts.
Send, you're not connected. Alright.
We got it. Yeah, we did.
So after that last puzzle, you just want to keep going forward until you eventually get to this big grassy plain. And you want to go to the area where you see me coming out of, which is the waterfall area. But before that, you have an opportunity to pick up a bonus chest. Just follow where I'm going, and eventually you get to see two areas that you can go into. Choose the left one and go where I go, which is just basically just step on a couple leaves and step on a rock, and you'll eventually just climb up to get this chest. Then to go to the next two puzzles, you just go back down to the area in between the waterfalls that I came out of at the beginning. So once you're done grabbing the chest, go back out and go to where you see here in the waterfall. It's just right in between the two, and you go in that little crack where you see my teammate coming out of. Once you go inside there, you'll be inside a cavern, and this is where you start the next two puzzles. So this puzzle is going to be the second to last puzzle, and it is probably the simplest puzzle. All you need to do is just make a very long chain, just starting where you see the box I am, and just form up to go all the way to where I end up linking the box to. It's very straightforward, just have to make a straight line with your teammates, and this is probably the easiest one to coordinate too, so again, not much to this one. This next puzzle is the last puzzle for the Divinity, but it is also the polar opposite of the last one, because this is by far the most challenging puzzle in the entire raid. So I'm going to put an image on screen here, which is different plates. You're going to want to number every single one of your teammates off 1 through 6, 1 and 6 having the easiest jobs. So what's going to happen is once you start the tether, it's going to link up, so you want to get in a straight line like you see us doing here, and once you do that, you'll all become tethered to the different boxes, so then you're free to move around to your different plates. The plates are labeled as you see them here, so make sure everyone's standing where they need to be. Once everyone's standing on the correct plate, it'll actually start the encounter, or the puzzle. And what you want to do is, these numbers are extremely important, because numbers aren't just a placement, they are in order. So 2 comes after 1, 3 comes after 2, 4 comes after 3, 5 comes after 4, and then the last one comes after 5. It's all aligned, and you need to make a very specific pattern with it. So why I said the first and the sixth ones are the easiest is because they're going to be very easy to identify, because they're going to be coming directly out of the boxes, so you know exactly where to go. Player number 2 follows the line that one leads to. Player number 3 follows the line that player 2's came from. Player number 4 went to the plate that player 3's line went to. Player 5 went to the line that player 4's line went to. And then the last one just goes to the plate that the box was connected to at the very end. This is a little bit confusing, so I'll just let you see our entire run of how to do it. And take into account I was number 3, so I came after 2 and in between 2 and 4.
It's just that last one.
yeah, most of it was just go to box.
Alright, let's get this. Yeah. It's like training wheels.
Hang on, you gotta get back. 1, 2, 3. Fallen. Bro, I'm having to count so fucking fast. There we go.
Yes. All right, let's.
So once you complete that puzzle, you are pretty much done with the Divinity quest. Now you just need to finish the raid, so go where I go to actually get out of the tree and cave area where you are, and then you'll just head to the final boss.
Okay.
All right, let's get to this final boss now.
Say I'd fucking just run the fucking story mission real fast.
So for the final boss fight, you're going to want to have to split your entire team into 3 different groups. Team 1 and Team 2 for moats, then you're going to have rebuilders. Team 1 and Team 2 for moats are going to go into the portals that you open up later, grab moats, deposit them, and defend. The rebuilders will pretty much bring back the lost platforms that the boss makes disappear. So that's the basic roles of the different teams, but I'm going to go much more in depth with them later on. So the basic mechanics of this fight is that you're going to defend the 2 confluxes where you deposit the moats, and you're going to send the 2 teams in to get moats. Then you're going to bring them back, they deposit them. Once you get 30 moats per side, you can start DPS, and you pretty much repeat that. So if you look at the gameplay in the background, this right here is where you're going to deposit moats on the left side, and right over here is where you're going to deposit the moats on the right side. So basically what's going to happen is once you start the fight, which is just by shooting the boss, you want to split up into 2 different sides, the left side and right side. You're going to have those people stay on those sides. So like let's say 2 people come back from left side. They're both going to deposit on left side obviously, but then one person is going to stay on left and one person is going to go to right side. And one builder is going to be on left side and one is also going to be on right side. So between the 2 teams and the builders, you should have 3 on each side. So once you start the boss, it's going to spawn a wave of ads, and 2 of the tether boxes are going to spawn on top of the confluxes that you're defending. Now immediately those tether boxes are going to have a shield around them, because an angelic is going to spawn, and you want to kill that as soon as possible. Once you kill the angelic, you'll notice that the boss has 2 different circles on him, one on his knee and one on his shoulder. Now if you want to shoot the one on the knee, that's going to open up a portal, and the same thing if you shoot the shoulder. If you shoot the knee, it's going to open a portal to the left side, and shoulder is going to be the right side. So that's how you're going to send in your teams that gather moats. You're going to send them into those portals, 1 team at a time, so you might want to get them ready to go into the portal. So once they go into the portal, they're going to kill enemies, and all the enemies there are going to drop moats. You want to pick up as many moats as you can. It's either a 16 or an 18 moat run each time. So with both teams going in, you should have over 30 moats, which is enough you need to DPS. Another important note is that whenever you open a portal, no matter what, there is always going to be a Cyclops that spawns on that side. And this Cyclops will one-shot you, so you can either do 2 Izanagi shots or whatever you need to. Just make sure to kill those almost immediately upon arrival. What I do is me and my teammates, we call out Cyclops so we both know it's going to spawn, and then we just use our snipers, or he uses his heavy to just clear out those Cyclopses really easily. So as you're seeing in the background gameplay, he will eventually take platforms. You'll know this because he does an animation where he sort of slams down, and it's going to make one of the platforms disappear. Now you want to call this out pretty much immediately, which is what me and my teammate do. We just tether to the conflux, and this is how you repair platforms. You can see a different tether box back there, and once we tether to it, the platform is going to come back. That is how you get back all the platforms that he makes disappear, except for the platforms that are more near the front. They will be out in front of you instead of in the back where we were. So once Team 1 is done collecting their moats, they killed all the enemies, you're going to shoot his leg again. This is going to open the same portal that you put him in, and it's going to bring him back, and they're going to spawn, where the encounter started, and they're going to deposit their moats, and then Team 2 is going to go in the portal that they went in last time. So you'll always have either Team 1 or Team 2 there defending, because whenever they deposit, they get the enlightened buff, and there's going to be enlightened shielded enemies that spawn, which if they sacrifice, it's pretty much game over. So once you pull Team 2 back, they're going to deposit their moats, and then you're going to wait for a little bit. You're going to clear ads, pick up ammo, because you don't have to immediately shoot the shoulder. But once you do, that portal's going to open up, and as you can see in the background gameplay, a Cyclops is going to spawn. And you need to take that down pretty much immediately. But also, Team 1 has to be ready to go into that portal, just like last time, so make sure that they're ready. So again, once Cyclops spawns, you just kill him as fast as you can, and then you just go back to what I was doing if you're builder, which is just clearing platforms. And, You pretty much do this again until Team 2 comes back, then there's a new mechanic to activate damage phase. So once Team 2 deposits, the boss is going to hold up a huge square, and you'll see it. Is he going to be either solar or arc? Arc is going to be left side, solar is going to be right side. And whichever team that is, you need to create tether, a line pretty much up to the boss, and you're going to tether that square. But while this is going on, the instant he spawns that square, there's going to be two waves of ads that come up, an angelic and then some regular goblins. So you're going to kill them, and then you're going to activate the line, and that's going to pretty much allow you to damage him. But the other team, the arc team, they need to get ready to tether too, because once he floats up into the air after a couple seconds, they need to tether him with the arc line. After arc team tethers him, then it's main damage time. I suggest when he's on the ground using Wendigo or different grenade launchers. So like after solar got done and arc was getting ready to tether, you can still use your grenade launchers then. And then once it's main damage phase and he goes up into the air, you can use Izanagi's, which is what I did. And that's probably the most effective strategy. That is basically all the mechanics. After damage phase, then you are free to repair as much as you want, which is what our team does. And keep in mind, you probably want to repair the front plates more often than the back plates, because front plates is where damage is going to be and where you deposit. So it's probably your top priority to, if you're rebuilding, to at least get those ones first. So besides that, you pretty much just run the mechanics the exact same, and there's no other mechanics, that's it. So I'll leave you with a complete round of everything that's going on with communication with our team.
Okay, gotcha.
Angelic, yeah.
Nah, y'all don't
Angelic,
worry about that
yep.
back. Or Sax on
Right, I'm coming. Oh, okay, never mind. Everyone clear out the right side. Clear out.
Team 1, get ready.
Yep.
Go. Motherfucker.
Oh shoot.
Oh, fuck.
Don't.
I'm trying.
Sorry, that was a
Right now.
ricochet bullet moth.
Okay, I'm coming.
Hang on, let me clear out.
Alright. You're good.
I got it. Need ammo.
Did we get any sacks that time?
Nope.
Okay, good.
I need ammo too. Fuck, boys, ammo's right at him.
Alright, let's go, Matt.
Okay, good.
Matt, just remember that we get quite a bit of ammo in here too. So
Yeah, I
We
just
good?
diverted for like a second.
I got your sack.
Matt, grab those. I'm gonna push up.
I'm getting our sacks.
Yep.
Alright,
I'm going, I'm going.
Y'all can
got
pull whenever.
Alright, we're good.
I've got 6, which that was a 15. So
Get Cyclops.
far left, Matt.
Cyclops it.
They pulled
Far,
regular
far
right.
left.
We're gonna need to fix this. Regular right.
Nice.
Shield enemies spawning.
Alright, team 2 or team 1, get ready.
Yep.
Go.
Okay, there. Yeah, we're
I'm
good.
gonna try and float over to where.
Shield ads on right. Thank you. Shield ads on right.
Y'all can rebuild
Shield out
now.
of shield
On
out of
left.
sacking. Shield out of sacking. Thank you.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Go rebuild that now.
Hold up.
Oh, not our side. Ah,
You'll clear out. Okay, Volcom, it's tethering.
Jesus.
All
I'm
right,
coming down.
we're good.
I was saying rebuild the left side, not that side.
Okay.
Pole, are you ready?
Activate it.
Let's go, Matt.
Shield ads on right. I'm about to die from shield ads on right. Thank you.
such a fat. I'll grab
Cyclops.
this one behind us, Matt. Just keep going.
No, I'm dead. Someone pick me up.
I get you. I have you.
Let's get this. Okay, Cyclops is down.
Holy fucking frame rate, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, the longer we stay in here, the frames get really rough. Alright,
we're
pull
good.
us.
Pull. How many motes did you get falling?
Pull.
9.
I'll get
I got 9
Cyclops.
as well.
Left side, Matt. Left side, or right side, my bad. Right side, right side, right side.
You,
On you.
boy, you better be lucky, I know.
Alright,
my God.
DPS
Shielded.
now.
Angelic.
Mark first. 2 waves. 2 waves. We might need a 4th on this one.
Okay, I'll go for 4th.
Yeah, because this is a long way.
Okay.
Go to the left. Go to the left, Ageless. Here, I'll let. No, I got you. 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 Alright, Ageless, let's go. Moth, get closer.
Oh, hold up, hold up. Here.
Nice.
Very nice.
Alright, right side on y'all.
Yep.
Alright. Set up.
Right side go.
Alright. Tether that. Get further. Okay. Nice.
Here we
Shit.
go.
Main damage. I got bubbling back.
Ageless,
I get
well.
that. Yep.
Oh well. That's
Nice.
GG's.
That was second. That was our
Nice.
first actual time. That was one
Like
try.
nothing.
Divinity helped a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an exotic.
Oh, nice. What'd you get?
Trinity Eagle.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Alright, boys.
nice.
Nice run. That was clean.
Time to run it back for Divinity, am I right?
So once you drop down the giant pit after actually killing the boss, if you did the Divinity quest all the way through, there should be a second chest right about here. And this is where you're going to get the Divinity from. It's just going to give you the Divinity outright. That's it. You're done with the quest. And that's also done with the raid. So I hope this guide helped you. It took a lot of time to make, so please leave a like. Consider subscribing because it'll really incentivize me to make more content like this. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.
Yeah, really. Alright.